Hatred against the demons contributes greatly to our salvation, helps our growth in holiness. But we do not of ourselves have the power to nourish this hatred into a strong plant, because the pleasure-loving spirits restrict it and encourage the soul again to indulge in its old habitual loves. But this indulgence, or rather this gangrene, is so hard to cure. The physician of souls heals by abandoning us, for he permits us to undergo some fearful suffering night and day, and then the soul returns again to its original hatred, and learns, like David, to say to the Lord, I hate them with perfect hatred, I count them my enemies. Psalms chapter 139, verse 22. For a man hates his enemies with perfect hatred when he sins neither in act nor in thought, which is a sign of complete dispassion. Now what am I to say about the demon who makes the soul obtuse? For I am afraid to write about him, how, at his approach, the soul departs from its own proper state, and strips itself of reverence and the fear of God, no longer regarding sin as sin, or wickedness as wickedness. It looks on judgment and the eternal punishment of hell as mere words. It laughs at the fire which causes the earth to tremble, and, while supposedly confessing God, it has no understanding of his commandments. You may beat your breast as such a soul draws near to him, near to sin. You may beat your breast as such a soul draws near to sin, but it takes no notice. You recite from the scripture, yet it is wholly indifferent and will not hear. You point out its shame and disgrace among men, and it ignores you. Like a pig, it closes its eyes and charges through a fence. This demon gets into the soul by way of long continuing thoughts of self-esteem, and unless those days are shortened, no flesh will be saved. Matthew chapter 24, verse 22. This is one of those demons that seldom approach brethren living in a community. The reason is clear. When people round us fall into misfortune, or are afflicted by illness, or are suffering in prison, or meet sudden death, this demon is driven out, for the soul has only to experience even a little compunction or compassion, and the callousness caused by the demon is dissolved. We solitaries lack these things because we live in the wilderness and sickness is rare among us. It was to banish this demon especially that the Lord enjoined us in the Gospels to call on the sick and visit those in prison. For I was sick, he says, and you visited me. Matthew chapter 25, verse 36. But you should know this, if an anchorite falls in with this demon, yet does not admit unchaste thoughts or leave his cell out of listlessness, this means he has received the patience and self-restraint that come from heaven, and is blessed with dispassion. Those, on the other hand, who profess to practice godliness, yet choose to have dealings with people of the world, should be on their guard against this demon. I feel ashamed to say or write more about him.